Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of What a Hell of a Way to Dad. It is Francis, and with me once again I have producer Jack away from the boards and on the mic here with us. Probably a place where you're very comfortable. You were on the mic a lot, so it's
That's true.
Not an unfamiliar place to you.
I ditched my 2 turntables and all I have left is this microphone. Yeah, it's true. I was actually just doing the math a minute ago because you and Nate have been doing dad chats. I guess they didn't used to be called dad chats on Hell of a Way to Die for 8+ years. And I was doing the mental math a minute ago. So roughly like 1 a week over those 8 years. Is that true? 2 a week? Like what? How many average per week do you think?
Well, I mean, for our show, we always have at least a regular episode a week and 2 to 3 bonuses a month. So per month, 8 episodes a month.
8 a month times, okay, so hang on a minute. 8 years times 12, that's 96 months times 8. I mean, you're looking at over roughly 800 episodes, something like that. So
yeah.
800 hours of Hell of a Way to Die /dad content. So you're no slouch either, my friend. You're living on this microphone now.
That is. I have never done the math, so thank you for giving me that existential crisis.
Oh, totally. And your beard just gets grayer every episode. People can't see you right now, but you look sort of like, Old Man Winter, or who's the guy that falls asleep? Rip Van Winkle. Yeah. It's pretty gray.
It's been 86 years of the podcast. So, Jack, you were recently in Italy doing a whole Italian whirlwind trip. So I want to talk about that, and then I want to talk about my exciting trip of sleeping on the floor in the zoo. Yes.
Oh, yeah. You were recently possibly in hell. Hard to say. I'm really looking forward to hearing about your zoo experience.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into that, Jack, because one of the funniest things about this whole thing. So 6 months ago, we signed up for this thing, and your local zoo might have something like this too, where they you can spend an overnight. Our zoo has a couple of them. We're actually thinking of doing another one where you sleep in this area that is it's got a big glass window where you can see the polar bear habitat.
Oh, wow.
And it's the big pool that the polar bears swim in. So you get to sleep there and wake up to the polar bears swimming and having breakfast and everything. So
you wake up to the polar bears feasting on your torso. Just ripping out your entrails.
Let them run on through. There's a 1 in 20 chance it's not going to be you. But you get to pet a polar bear one way or another.
It's Alaskan roulette. It's a variation of Russian roulette.
Yeah, don't eat the salmon beforehand and you'll be fine. So 6 months ago, we get this, we see this and we're like, oh, we're going to sign up for this because it's going to be on our daughter's 10th birthday. So overnight at the zoo, great. Perfect. Wonderful birthday present.
Incredible.
Kid agrees. We all agree. We're all there. So about 2 weeks beforehand, my wife and I are just like, okay, so we need to actually start, really preparing for it, seeing what do we need? Do we need to buy anything? What are we going to be bringing? How are we getting there? All those things, the little minutia things about doing something like this. My wife is way more comfortable if she knows all the steps going into something.
Sure.
I am very much I don't care. I can wing it. I will show up at an I showed up at an airport and somehow got to Afghanistan one time. Just doing it, hopping all the planes, because I didn't fly with an actual group of soldiers. I flew by myself. Yeah. 2004 was wild when it came to deployments. So my wife is, she wants to know more. Of course I do too. What do we have to get into? And the big thing that we found out is that we're going to be sleeping on a floor. And they said, look, the floor it's not concrete, but it's a hard floor. It's in a basement. It's got a thin carpet on top of it. And you can't bring a big air mattress, and you can't bring a cot or anything like that. You can bring a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
You can bring a sleeping pad. And Jack, the way I bitched and moaned, you would think. You would think. And my wife and my father, too. My father, I was telling my dad's like, you were in the Army. And I said, yeah, I got out of the Army, though, to not do this anymore.
Right, of course.
And it was a point of pride. I have slept on many floors before, Jack. I've slept on airplane floors in the United States. I've slept on an airport floor in Turkey. I've done it I dozed in Ireland, in Shannon, Ireland. I have snoozed my way across Tajikistan. I've been there. I know how to do it, but I am 42 now, and my body doesn't like it.
And the zoo does not have a criminal court that might prosecute you if you disobey sleeping orders. So you do have an opt-out policy here. There is no AWOL from the zoo.
Well, see, this is for children, though, so you have to monitor your children, and that's the thing. We were concerned because they in the description they specifically say, like, they have a whole paragraph and a half about your children are expected to go to sleep. Your children, this is not a lock-in. This is not a run around, have a good time. You're expected to go to sleep at a certain time. We're going to do lights out, and we're going to do lights on. Lights out at 11, lights on at like 6:30 or so.
Sure.
And when you have a big thing like that, a paragraph like that doesn't get written unless somebody has already screwed it up somewhere else.
Oh, that is an earned paragraph. Every policy, that came the hard way, for sure. Right. This is not imaginative thinking.
Yeah. Every warning label is a reaction, not a proaction,
Yeah, don't dangle your arm in the baboon cage. We have that policy for a reason, too.
Right. But it was really nice. They had it in this educational center because my daughter has also done camp at the zoo, so it's in the zoo camp area. And big thing is it was air conditioned. I don't know how things are out in Seattle, but it is a wet armpit here in St. Louis.
Not here.
Yesterday, I experienced actual hell when I was driving to the dispensary, and it rained the entire time while the sun was fully out.
Oh, yeah.
During a heat wave.
Yeah.
And when I got there, it's like a 10-minute drive, and I got out and I about passed out. It was so goddamn miserable outside. So we had an air conditioned area, so that was fine. And we got to kind of wander around the zoo at night. They had these big flashlights that had red cellophane over them. So we went and we watched where all the big cats kind of go and snooze at night. We saw the red pandas as well. So we got to see a lot of.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the morning you wake up and you have a quick breakfast and you go walk around while the animals are waking up. So you're there before the zoo opens too. And so I complained a lot, and the sleeping definitely sucked. And my wife and I both had to take a nap like the next day, but then we were fine. And overall, great experience. We're already thinking about doing another one. I think maybe next time we'll get one of those. Like I had an inflatable air mattress, like one you gotta blow into to inflate it, and it wasn't terrible. So
yeah, there's a Dennis Leary bit about like zoos are the worst because most animals that live there are either nocturnal or crepuscular. So you show up and they're just all completely passed out on their backs. They ate at 4 a.m. and they're just sleeping it off for the rest of the day. So that's actually incredible that you can see nocturnal animals when they're getting jiggy with it. That's fun.
Well, and yeah, I think we heard one of the I can't remember which ones do and don't. It wasn't the tigers that was roaring at us, but somebody was. But we also saw a lot of leopards just kind of snoozing. Well, our big cat area has the big pits. But also it has these really cool caged enclosures, so you can get pretty close to the cage where the cats are.
Yeah. And
the cats are all sleeping, it's really hot, so all the cats are sleeping on top of things to get as much breeze as they can. So they're like right there, snoozing the whole time. So it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so, maybe this will incentivize you to donate money to your zoo to replace that nice thin industrial carpet in the basement with something a little more plush, like a level 2 Berber, something a little more supportive. Or
sign up to the Patreon so that I can afford a whole family set of inflatable air mattresses.
Wow.
Everybody can have one,
This is like that GoFundMe for the guy that proudly said he was a fascist and then promptly got fired from his job. So there are so many like secondary and tertiary uses for your Patreon now. Support my Patreon so that I can get a better air conditioner on sweaty days.
I mean, that has been one because my air conditioner does suck. I tell you what, Jack, we got a lot of signups to the Patreon recently because I found that my local dispensary was selling a strain of weed called Wounded Warrior's Breath.
Whoa.
Yeah. And there's no reason. There's not like, oh, here we're donating money or we're doing, it's just called Wounded Warrior's Breath. So of course I start making jokes about how it's the weed that you can only vape through your CPAP machine. It's the weed that makes your tinnitus worse. It's all the little things like that. You smoke this weed and your IBS gets better for a minute. So I said is like, hey, if people sign up for the Patreon, I will review the Wounded Warrior's Breath on camera. So that is my job tonight is going to be smoking weed and telling people about it.
The way you suffer for your art.
My wife and we did this yesterday, and my wife was like, "Are you going to do that tonight, or are you going to wait till tomorrow?" Because Wednesday is usually one of my working nights. Kid goes to bed, and then I come out to the office and I work on website design stuff, anything like that. And she's like, "Well, you better get it." She's like, "You better go buy it because now it's your job." And like once again,
there you go.
Again, a hobby has become commodified.
A hobby's a jobby. Yeah.
And that's fine. I will, for my listeners, for my people, I will smoke the weed and tell you about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's a documentary about this, but in Seattle, like in the greater Seattle area in the 80s and 90s, we had a public access channel, like a notorious public access channel where I think you would take like a 30-minute class and then you could just put up free TV shows. So there were people that it was channel 29. So you had to have cable to get it, I think. I don't think you could like tune into that. But they had the most like completely specialized and esoteric shows available. But my favorite one was called Bong Rip Championships. So there were these two guys that look kind of like these guys just look like a couple of burnout dudes from Santa Cruz that are living on the boardwalk, completely adorned in Grateful Dead tie-dye, like well worn. And they're just there on mic with sunglasses on, taking live phone calls from people who are watching this show, and their challenge is, all right, you got all loaded up there? All right, you ready to go? All right, as soon as I start hearing the gurgles, I'm gonna hit the button. All right, here we go. And then you wait for a second, and you hear the spark, and then you hear like and they're like, whoa, you're still going, man. I can't believe, wow, you're still going. And, there were people who were definitely like, they either had friends like dovetailing the gurgle sounds and to try to extend how long it sounded that there was one bong rip going. But it was an amazing show. So you could have your own version of that.
Yeah, I do have a bong that's shaped like a tank too. So it all works out.
Yeah. So this could be like a listener submitted content. If there's a way that you could just have your Zencaster just open for drop-ins, anyone can come in.
Well, I did say I was going to do the on-camera review and then do a quick smash cut to me like sitting backwards in a chair and just be like, "Hey, kid." And like do a dad PSA like while stoned out of my mind. Just like this rambling PSA for 10 minutes that I completely lose track of like 2 seconds into, and just like, so anyway.
I learned it from watching you, Dad. I learned it from watching you.
So anyway, that's how taxes work.
Yeah. Incredible. Wow. Well, again, thank you from all of us devotee listeners of Hell of a Way to Dad. Thank you for suffering for your art. Thank you for putting yourself on the line for this content, because I know this won't be easy for you.
I'm here for the people.
And that's tonight?
That's tonight.
Okay.
Tonight I will be recording that. It will be going up. This episode will already be out. So it will already be on Patreon and you can go see it right now.
This is exciting. Okay, yeah. Wait. So the order is that's already out. So we're now speaking of something that has already happened. Correct. In future past tense. Okay.
Right. Currently you and I are speaking and it has not happened. However, when people hear us speaking,
it will have already happened.
It will have happened.
And this guy hit that bong so hard that he time traveled. Unbelievable. Okay, well, this might then be your last cogent conversation on Hell of a Way to Dad. This could be the final one.
I don't show up to work like that. All right, this is still a work day. I gotta be clear-headed for this. But okay. For later on, yeah, we'll get a little messy with it.
This is clearly a work day for you too. By the way, I see you've got your Slack open and you're actively answering IT questions as we speak. Look, I had to shut my computer down because otherwise I will get a lot of people will be pinging me during my lunch hour, and I am paid hourly, not salary, so I don't play that game. Oh yeah, good for you.
So Jack, tell me about Italy. You've been there before. You're going back again. You went back again. Tell me all about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I probably said this before. I went to Italy when all of the cool kids in my high school senior class were going to, Cancun or wherever they went. They were going somewhere where they could drink legally and just get, have a pre-fraternity experience in senior year of high school.
To be fair, can't you also drink at that young age in Italy too?
Well, I found out you could actually, yes.
Like you guys
didn't know that when I signed up.
You could have been drinking and getting culture.
Yeah, exactly. I and all the other artsy kids went to Italy on a 10-day trip. And in retrospect, it was super cheap. Like we were all, like 8 to a room in hostels, but it was so much fun bussing around Italy. So we didn't have any exposure to train culture. We just flew into Florence and flew out of Rome or something like that. And we're just on a bus with the same driver and a tour guide for 10 days. There were like 40 of us on this trip with a few teachers from our high school. And it was amazing. Like I had never been out of the country. I think I'd been to Canada, which if you live in Seattle, Vancouver is basically Seattle. It's just, slightly.
Especially back then. It's like,
totally.
Of course you've been to Canada. Like you probably got lost and took a wrong turn and ended up in Canada.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. It's so, and that was before I think you even needed a passport to cross the border. You might not have needed ID, like it very lax times. So it was my first international experience, and I just fell in love with every part of that experience. I loved, feeling lost in a new place. Like the John Travolta description of Amsterdam in Pulp Fiction, just the little differences. Going to Auto Grill, which is like their version of McDonald's, where, they serve Italian food in a giant buffet, like next to the highway. It was amazing. Right. So in college, I took Italian for 2 years, promptly forgot all of it because then I took Spanish and they all got kind of gobbled up together, mixed up with each other. But I always just felt drawn back to there. So my wife and I went just as a couple. And then once our kids were old enough to travel, we just started making that a regular place to go. And, not having a fully bohemian experience, like we're now staying in Airbnbs. And like your wife, I like to get all of like the skeleton of the trip planned in advance. So obviously the airfare, and where we're staying. So we're not like having to figure that out. But even down to like, booking the fast trains between cities, I like to have those in place. So I at least know, once we're in a city, it's really open to, interpretation and improvisation, but at least like the hard outlines are there.
Yeah, my wife has been working as a travel agent for years at this point. And even any of that, just like that's all. I know that she's going to do that way better than I will. And she's going to know the, like, as you said, the trains to get from here to there. We also know that. And I'd be the one who's like, I don't know, I guess we'll show up and look at a train table. We'll get there eventually.
That used to be that way, but we just got burnt a few times. Like got stuck on a local that takes 3 times as long, or having to sit in 2 very, vastly different areas of the train. And when you've got younger kids, and our kids are older now, they're 10 and 14.
But still, you don't want to abandon them to sit next to a weirdo on a train.
Well, and just, like I heard some statistic that like after your kids are like 10 or something like that, 90% of the time that you spend with them is generally like in traffic, just like going from one place. I mean, if you homeschool, it's a little different, but if your kids are spending 6 hours a day at school and doing other activities, like so much of your time is spent just going places. So getting to sit in a little rectangle on a train facing each other and just having 3 or 4 hours just to be together is like, those are some of the most memorable times on a trip. So it's important, to have all that locked in. But so anyway, this most recent trip, we went to 4 cities in kind of smaller durations. We usually like to go longer and just kind of explore a place. But we went to Venice, Rome, Naples, and Bologna. And each one was awesome in its own way. It was so hot. Probably not hot from your perspective. From your perspective, it was probably normal, but
well, it's humid here. I think that's the real crux of it. So as long as it's not humid, it can be hot. I don't mind that.
It was humid in Venice for sure. It turned out we were there during the Bezos wedding. So like the exact dates of the Bezos wedding, and I think a lot of media portrayed that as like it was going to shut down the city and, it was this inescapable thing. And we would have had no idea what was going on except for all the protest signs. And there was a big protest like at the train station protesting all kinds of American things, from Jeff Bezos to Gaza to everything in between.
Yeah, all of that, I'm sure, fair. A bunch of fair points being made all in one crowd.
Yeah, they were all kind of conflated into one. But a few people asked, like, so how, what's the vibe about Americans right now? Like, how did it feel being an American traveling in Europe? And everyone that we talked to was super kind and welcoming and opening. And more than once, people drew a distinction between us as people and the people at the levers of power in our country, which is really nice because it's, I think, really easy to see people and their society as a monolith. So that felt good. And it was very cathartic to just, kind of open up about, things aren't super great right now.
And it also helps that you're not like one of those big, loud Americans. You are a very outgoing person, but you're not an asshole, which I think is what people kind of expect out of Americans. But when you show up, you're like, no, this is great. I love it. Look at that. Look at this. Show me all these things. Tell me all these things. Tell me all about the great stuff that you guys have. We need more people doing that out there. Because like, oh, okay, not all the Americans are insane. It's like, no, the crazy ones stay.
Yeah.
And don't ever leave. But, you know, the ones who do get to travel and do get to leave, like once you go out and start meeting other people and realizing that people are just people, you stop hating other people. And we need more of that. We need more people going out and just having to be around other people.
I totally agree. I mean, and that's all true. That said, I do have a 14-year-old son who can't help but be that big, brash, egocentric version of an American because all 14-year-old boys are. So there were
back World War champions, baby.
Yeah, that's right. My son's not like that, but he's just big and wild and looking for funny stuff to do. And there were a couple times that my wife and I both felt like we had to kind of pull him down out of the rafters. Like, hey, just for the record, like this is all fun and it's fine. And I know you're coming from a good place, but like we're kind of representing an entire country right now. So like just dial it back just a little bit.
Take it down 15%, kid. Take it down.
50%. Yeah. So that was great. And our kids did a really good job of dealing with the heat. You know, in Seattle today, it's going to be 72 degrees. It's the perfect Seattle summer day.
Oh, God, Jack.
And
oh, my God.
You know, walking around Rome, it was 97 and high humidity. We had a place that didn't have great AC, although everything was air conditioned. So that was a nice saving grace. But, you know, walking from the Colosseum to, you know, like all through the historic center of Rome, we'd be out on foot for like 5 or 6 hours a day. We spent 6 hours in Pompeii. We didn't see the guy cranking it that you and Nate were talking. I actually didn't know that until I heard you guys talking about that.
The straight Jorkinets mummy.
Yeah. I can't remember if that was you and Nate talking about that or if that was on Zoo Crew. But yes, I looked it up and indeed that is a thing. There's some discussion about whether he was really cranking it.
Right. I mean, he probably died, but like if you look at it and, you know, us being who we are, he's cranking it.
Of course. Hey, you got 30 seconds left to live. I mean, you're at home alone.
Right. You know what? That's probably like a 14-year-old boy who's just like, all right, I'm gonna fuck with somebody in about 1,000 years.
Oh yeah, totally. Or just with myself. One or the other. Yeah, we didn't see him. I don't know if he's still on display. It could be that he's been tagged too many times on Reddit and has been put into the backstage area in Pompeii.
They didn't have him at the Pompeii exhibit here, unfortunately.
Too bad.
They have a lot of castings, but not the Jerkinet guy.
Well, I mean, good for him. You know, he died doing what he loved.
If there's one thing Romans love to do, it's talk about dicks and paint dicks and touch their dicks and look at other dicks. They just love dicks. So
yeah,
that's what you live. The deeper into Roman culture you get, the more you find out that it's very dick centric.
Yeah, and in that way, like, what a perfect crossover for a 14-year-old American boy, because that's all they want to do too. Just give him a Sharpie and let him go wild.
Your boy's gonna do great in the U.S. Army one day.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. He'll be in drum corps, I think. Yeah. So all told, it was a great trip. Yeah, it was. I finally got some tan in me, which never happens. I guess in Seattle in the summertime, the sun actually does exist, but we. Seattleites spend most of our time translucent, so it's nice to actually, you know, activate pigmentation.
I think I could live with that. My wife and I often think about like, well, if we're going to move, and we think about moving over to Illinois, but Seattle is very attractive just because it's cloudy a lot, and I like that. Yeah,
it's definitely brooding, and this is the city where seasonal affectiveness disorder was first diagnosed and classified. It's real. I mean, yeah, and we're so far north too. I mean, it's already a month past the solstice as we're recording right now. It's almost exactly a month. It's still getting light out at, I think, 5:45 in the morning and stays light until 9:30 or 9:45 at night. I mean, Jesus. Sunset is like in the 9 area, but, you know,
right.
Like the dusk and gloaming keeps going. On the solstice day, it's dark for maybe 6 total hours. It's crazy.
Oh, wow. And then on the opposite day, you just get no sun. Like, I guess in the winter, it's just dark as hell. I think Nate talked about that in England, too, because England is so far north.
Yeah, they're very similar. Yeah. Going to London, it very much felt like Seattle. We've been there a few times. Summer felt a lot like Seattle summer. Fall or spring felt a lot like Seattle spring. Yeah, it's tough. Like, there's a lot of discussion about maybe eliminating daylight savings time. And it's places like here, which I'm for, because that hour, it screws me up every year more and more. When I was a kid, it was no big deal.
And I don't care which one we pick, just pick one. Just pick one and be done with it. Because every time it comes around, I know that I'm just going to be screwed for a week. And Missouri passed the most mealy law about it, because it's like the law was, we're not going to change it, but if enough states that touch us change it, then we'll change it.
Oh,
like,
weird.
Yeah. It's like just change it. Indiana doesn't do it. Indiana figured it out. Indiana's dumb as hell, but they figured it out. The government of Indiana, not the people. We love our Hoosiers, but
good
not
for you. Just like the Europeans, you're separating the people from their leaders.
Well, Hoosier is a slur in St. Louis, so it's really hard for me to be nice to somebody who calls himself a Hoosier.
It sounds like a slur. I was born in Bloomington. I sometimes feel like maybe I shouldn't be saying this anymore.
Right.
The days are numbered on this word.
Well, that's we take it to mean white trash. So if you ever said that somebody was like, "Oh yeah, he's a good Hoosier," I'm like, "Oh, so I piece of shit." All right.
Yeah. Okay. But here in Seattle, like in the wintertime, I think, when my kids leave for school in the morning, they both walk to the train. So they're out the back door at 7:20. It's still pitch black at the darkest parts of December, like until it changes. And then we get, in November, I guess, then it changes and we get a little bit of light back, but then it's again, like the last week before winter break, like it's just pitch black. And when you get home, it's dark by 4:15. Like it's crazy. So there's no way to win here, but
no,
but those morning hours are kind of weird. Like it's weird releasing your kid out into just darkness, a black hole of reality.
Go out into the dark winter sun. Don't return unless you've brought me a wolf pelt.
Yeah, we just call our back fence the event horizon. Nothing comes from there. See you later. Yeah. So anyway, Seattle, aside from those things, would be a really nice place for you to live, I think. And also the fact that real estate costs probably 5x of what it costs in St. Louis. But everything else.
Yeah, everything else is nice. We're at patreon.com/hellofaWay to die.
We have a new subscription level, $8,000 a month.
$8,000 to pay for my rents in downtown Seattle, right underneath the Space Needle.
Oh, amazing! Yeah. You can get the full Fraser Crane view.
You can go buy it. What's the fish place? The fishmonger place?
Oh yeah, the Pike Place Market.
Yeah, Pike Place. I was there once. I spent 6 hours in Seattle. It was a weird time, but I liked it.
Was that like getting between SeaTac and JBLM or something like that?
No, I did a 2-week. Well, not so in the reserves, the Army Reserve, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. The 2 weeks a year are usually you go out and you do training for 2 weeks, whether it be with your unit or some other training. But this one was they just needed bodies to help do graduation, like officers graduating from the officer corps to go become second lieutenants out of Fort Lewis, which is now Joint Base Lewis McChord. It was still Fort Lewis back then. So we were out there for 2 weeks. It was hot as hell the entire time. And we only had to work every other day. So when you have a bunch of soldiers who don't have work to do, the first thing they do is start drinking to excess.
Yeah.
More than once, I woke up inside of the mini fridge inside of our barracks because it was like 85 degrees and there's no air conditioning in any of the barracks. So they're like, it's Washington. It doesn't get hot here. And this is like 2005. This is not some, recent, like it was just hot as balls back then too.
Yeah.
But Seattle was great. I spent 6 hours wandering around downtown. We went up the Space Needle. There was, all right, I don't know if I think I've told this story on the show. I can't remember. But the weirdest thing that happened to me in Seattle is I am just wandering around downtown, got a bottle of Coke, got a cigarette in my hand, having the time of my life because I don't have to be in the Army for 6 hours. And I turn a corner and I see like this small crowd of people that are gathered around something on the sidewalk. So I, make my way on over and I look, they're all surrounding a cat. Like a dead cat on the sidewalk. Right. So apparently what had happened, like right before I had turned, this cat had fallen, like there was an apartment building next to it. This cat had fallen. Yeah. And was dead. So I'm staying out of this crowd because this whole like Warren Commission kind of suddenly springs up where people are like, okay, there's a collar on the cat. They call the cat the number. The guy is up there in his apartment. He's like, oh shit, my cat. And he's like, I'm coming down right now. And like during this entire time, all these people start like, I think the guy threw the cat out the window. Look at the trajectory. He couldn't have gone this far. And these guys, and like the guy comes out and he looks like a normal guy that lives in an apartment in downtown Seattle, which means he looks like he has a job sending emails.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a guy who's going to throw a cat out. And he looked visibly upset. So he's just like, oh, my cat. And he's, going to get the cat. And people are like accusing him of murdering this cat now. And during all this time, there's some young woman who has like been crouched down, petting this dead cat, because I guess she has never seen a dead animal in her life. And it has just kind of broken her brain. Maybe this cat died in front of her and she's not dealing with it well. So the guy who owns the cat finally breaks away and goes to get his cat, and they're like, fuck you guys, I'm going back to my apartment. And this young woman grabs the cat and like picks it up to keep it from him. Now, Jack, I don't know if you know too much about biology.
No.
Yeah.
Tell me this didn't happen.
So when you pick up a dead animal and squeeze it, things come out of it. There's no longer muscles holding all the poo and the pee inside. And Jack, that's when I said, to the Space Needle, and I left.
Nope. That was the first instance of someone noping right out of there.
Yeah, I Homer disappeared into the shrubbery immediately on that one. I was just not...
Man, that's insanity.
6 hours in Seattle, never forget it. Pike's Place, I think I went to the aquarium down there. I wanted to do a glass bottom boat tour, but I didn't have the time. Went to the Space Needle, saw a dead cat poop on a girl. The regular the Seattle experience.
That dead cat was worth the price of admission. You didn't have to do anything else. Man, to walk out with that story.
Yeah, it was a wild day.
Yeah. That is the Seattle way. Identify a problem and then talk it to death for months without solving it.
Identify a problem, make it worse, yes.
Yeah, Seattle City Council has made many generations of careers on that premise. This is why it took us 30 years to get light rail in this city. Yeah, that exact problem. But aside from all those reasons... and you're not a cat family, right? You guys are a dog family.
No, we have 3 cats. Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever throw them off of buildings?
I throw them onto my couch sometimes. I throw them off of my countertop. But that's about it. I throw them off of normal things.
Okay, good. Well, then Seattle's the town for you. Yeah. It's settled then. Yeah. Gosh, I've never experienced anything that disgusting or
ever again. Look, it's one of my best Army stories. It's something that didn't happen in the Army. So I was actually away from the Army, but I was in Seattle because of the Army, and here's what happened.
So Francis, what was it like when you were really in the shit, man? Tell us about it. All right. This is crazy.
Let me tell you about somebody who was in the shit.
20-year-old woman who has seen her first dead cat.
Yeah.
Literally.
So you got to see the Coliseum. You got to go to Pompeii too. Were there any signs? Like I love going, like I want to go see Roman architecture and stuff like that, because like I know enough about history to be like, so many people died here for stupid reasons.
Oh yeah.
And so the whole lions led by dunk, like the Coliseum, which they would flood with water and have boat fights with. Phenomenal. Why don't we have that? I don't understand why we don't do that.
I don't know. There's going to be a UFC fight in the middle of the Rose Garden at the White House. I think we're on the way. That's happening. That's scheduled. That's going to happen.
I will say, though, I did see that in Orlando, there is a pirate-themed dinner show that is on water. So kind of like medieval times, but pirate themed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we didn't go to it. We saw that it existed. So maybe we do have our own Coliseums. I don't think anybody's dying, though. It'd be hard to find talent if you just kept murdering them.
Man, those Romans were a bloodthirsty people. So we toured the Colosseum. We had a pretty good guide, and we made it onto the stage area there and got to get really close to the trapdoors that, it was a brilliant design, like the whole play area, whatever you want to call it, wherever all the carnage is going on. It's covered in sand, and there are something like 20 invisible trapdoors. These are huge doors that are like 4 by 6 feet that you never know which one's going to open. It's completely random. So you're out there, fighting other gladiators or just kind of waiting. And out of nowhere, an angry, hungry lion just appears on the ground. It just runs up, and it's been prodded by people underneath. It's insane.
I will say Gladiator 2, probably not very historically accurate, but like all the shots of ridiculous carnage inside the Coliseum was pretty great.
Yeah, and probably pretty accurate based on what we saw anyway. I don't know. I haven't seen actually either Gladiator movie. We're now thinking about all the media that we need to watch as a family to reinforce our travel experience.
Gladiator 2, 300 Rise of an Empire. You're going to have to teach your kids how to get huge abs.
Yeah, we got to watch Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. That's important. I threatened to play that for our kids while we were in Naples, and they're like, yeah, pass. We're not interested in that.
Nobody's got 5 hours right now, Dad.
Yeah. Speaking of movies, on Monday, just randomly because we found out it was going to leave the theater, we went to go see Superman in 4D.
Oh yeah, okay. What is the fourth dimension of
Exactly.
Superman?
That was my question too. So I'm not really a super stan. I'm not really. During COVID, my son and I got into all the Marvel movies just because it was something to do that wasn't talking to each other because we were all just sick of each other.
You got better things to do. I get you. I do too.
Yeah, and I was curious about what 4D was, and it was actually amazing. I don't know if there is a 4D theater in St. Louis. There's only one in Seattle, and just one movie at a time will cycle through. But you are bolted into not strapped in, but you're sitting in a row of 4 seats. There are many of these all over the theater, and it's kind of like Star Tours or like one of those augmented reality things. You're watching a big screen, and the row of 4 seats moves and rumbles and turns and twists. It blows air at you. There are like massage things in your back so that anytime anything kinesthetic happens on the screen, you just get punched in the back. So within the first second of the movie, Superman's lying, having been through some fight, and his dog jumps on him. And when the dog jumps, you just get punched in the back by your seat. And there were moments that it was the most severe turbulence that I've ever been on an airplane. And you're subjected to this for 5 minutes at a time as, Superman is fighting all the baddies. I don't know if it was worth the price of admission, but it was fascinating. It was a whole new level of entertainment.
It sounds horrible, but I do definitely want to try it out at least once.
Yeah, that's exactly where we were. What's the deal? And that's the only thing that's going to get us in the door to see a Superman movie. And I'm glad we did it. I would recommend it, I think.
Yeah, the only 4D movie I've been to is the Muppet 4D movie they had in Disney, in Hollywood Studios, I think.
Oh yeah,
where they would spray water on you, or bubbles would come down from the top and things.
Yeah. Same premise. Yeah.
You know what this sounds like? Are you familiar with the Tinglers? Not Chuck Tingle, but back in the Vincent Price movie era, there was I can't remember who the guy was, but he loved a gimmick. He loved a movie gimmick. Uh-huh. And there was a movie, I think it was called The Tingler, where it was this kind of bug thing, and it runs around on the screen and everything. And they had this idea of making it seem like, it runs off screen and then it's running through the audience. And the way that they did this was by electrifying the seats.
Oh,
to shock you.
That's amazing.
So and people would come out in droves for it. I want to go to the movie that electrocutes me. I don't know if it was actual electrocution or if there was some machine in it but they would electrify all of them so that you would have kind of the same thing, a 4D experience while the movie is playing.
Getting tased at Regal. That's amazing. Yeah. So I think I have heard about that, but I don't think I knew about it in that depth. That's insane.
Yeah. I do love a gimmick. I do, especially a movie gimmick. I love a sideshow, so it's one of those sideshow things. And yeah, I'm gonna have to look into it because my buddy and I went and saw Deadpool in 3D, and the Deadpool and Wolverine one. And I remember going to see 3D movies a while back, 20 years ago. It feels like there was a big 3D movie explosion. For sure, yeah. And then it died off, and now it's kind of back as an option. And I don't know, I didn't really get anything out. I get it. I said, okay, yeah, it's 3D. I see the thing is coming at me, the sword. Whoa, it misses my face. But I don't know. It didn't really enhance the movie any more or less for me. It's a gimmick that really grabs your attention for the first 30 seconds of it. And then, it steals its own thunder. It doesn't. Yeah, then you get annoyed and you're now I have to wear these glasses all the time. And you wear glasses. So you have to put glasses on top of your glasses for that. It's like a hat on a hat, like a twice baked potato. Yeah. The glass, that was actually fine. I realized as I was sitting down, I made a terrible mistake. How am I going to experience this? Yeah, I would recommend it, I think. If it's the right movie, obviously, like a big rock'em sock'em spectacular like Superman is probably the way to see it. It's, if you're going to see My Dinner with Andre, probably not the same level of kinesthetic thrill. But can you feel ennui with an electrical shock? Yeah, we'll make you feel it. On the armrest on the seat, there's a water on off button, so you have a little bit of customization that you can choose. So, if you turn it on and Andre
somebody, cracks open a crisp one at the table, maybe you'll get a little bit of water on the face. You could really feel
spray,
it.
A little Sierra mist to the face.
Yeah, whenever Wallace Shawn speaks, I feel it in my whole core. I don't know what it is.
There's another 4D experience that Disney, I think, still has in Tomorrowland, which is a Lilo and Stitch one. And it's Stitch gets out and is running around, and you feel him running across, you feel and hear him run across the back of your seat. But then there's he belches in your face, and there's a smell-o-vision belch that comes out at you. Yeah, it's pretty awful.
It smells like burp. Like they actually. Yeah. How?
The magic of Disney, man. Their smell engineers have got it down.
Yeah, those.
The smell engineers, the Imagineers of smell.
Totally.
Look, smell is a huge part of Disney. There is smell and sound, especially in the Magic Kingdom, when you're going from Frontierland to Tomorrowland, the smells and the sounds and the music, everything changes when you cross over. So smell, this is not something we just kind of invented this. They probably had a Stitch burp smell in their in a vault somewhere in the basement.
Yeah, just call it up.
The moment that movie came out, we're gonna need this thing to burp in somebody's face. Get on that.
Do you remember what Stitch had to eat before that burp?
No.
What did it smell like?
This was a while ago. It was very surprising too. So if I was able to go back and I can give you an analysis, maybe bottle a little bit of it and run it through the mass spec, we can kind of figure out, maybe if not what he's eating, we can reverse engineer it and steal the technology from Disney.
Here. So speaking of Disney, I learned a really great fun fact about Disney. Maybe you know this already. Characters at Disney and, cast members, everyone at Disney is called a cast member. If you're working in the park, even if you're, sweeping up cotton candy off the ground, you're still a cast member. But people in character, they have a rule where if a kid runs up to you to hug you, the characters have to maintain the hug as long as the kid wants it, or anyone, or adult, anyone. If a person runs in and hugs Mickey Mouse, Mickey has to hold that hug until the other person releases. So it's a really amazing situation where because they don't want to give off the feeling that Mickey has places to be. He's there for you. He's devoted and dedicated to you. But if you're going to Disney, you could probably do it for 8 hours and they'd be stuck there. You could jump into it.
Well, as somebody because I love watching the cast members work, especially the heads, the ones who are in, the full Mickey character and everything like that, because you will see how they can, maybe they're not breaking it, but they will kind of pull you away and then make an expression or wave or who's this or do something else. So they will definitely hold on to you, but not necessarily.
Oh, interesting.
Grip. But they can hold on and maintain, but also start to break that initial contact, but maintain,
So there's a legal out. As long as you maintain contact, you could maintain contact at an arm's length.
Yes, you can't shove them away and then hold on to them at arm's length.
And then hold a flashbang in one hand while you're maintaining contact. If they run off, that's on them.
One of the other fun things, because we did a behind-the-scenes tour of Magic Kingdom years ago, and they take you into the tunnels underneath, which is really cool. But they also, when characters are coming off stage, right? So when they're out among the people, they have to be in character. And there is a line after every, where the characters are leaving, they're walking out, there is a line, demarcation, and you cannot break character until you are over that line. So, because once you're over that line, nobody can see you. There's no way that somebody can lean in and see you or peek or something like that. Nobody can see you. And so when you see Clarabelle Cow doing her big walk, the 1940s cartoon with the big arms and up and everything like that, and then it hits that line and then it just deflates. And the thing is about Clarabelle and they tell us look at how tall everybody is, and you'll understand that inside of these Disney characters there is probably gender disparity happening, because Mickey Mouse is 5'2" at the most.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
He's a short guy. So Mickey, they usually have a woman playing Mickey inside. Clarabelle Cow is like 6'2". So you got to put a tall guy inside of that. So if you're not seeing directly the face, there's no telling. Like it's very, non-gendered there. You don't know who's going to be inside of it. Maybe they do find
so
find
progressive.
A 6 foot tall. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. So
the minute they cross that line, they just spark up the cigarette and they're like, the people here are a bunch of SOBs.
I see it pop the head off at least. They pop off the head and like reach that water that they're grabbing as they're coming off and everything. Yeah. Fucking kids.
I gotta get a better agent.
I had the face characters, the ones that don't have to wear the big heads, so you actually see their faces. We didn't get to watch them come off. I think they kind of go somewhere else because the head characters have to have somebody who like guides them because you can't see anything in there. So there's always a handler that walks and is
right.
Yeah, talking to Mickey, talking to Donald, whoever it is. Even if there's nobody around, they are talking to them as if they are Donald Duck or Mickey because they want to maintain that like, hey, we're friendly and having a conversation. And even if we're not sitting on our phones waiting for somebody to come up and talk to us. So when it comes to that kind of immersion, Disney really does it very well.
Yeah, we went to Universal Studios in California in March and went to the Waterworld Stunt Show, which is weird that they have it. I mean, it's a spectacle. It was really fun and amazing. Neither of our kids had any idea what Waterworld was because that was not like that movie.
Yeah, this wasn't a good movie.
No, the only thing that I remember being notable about that movie was that at the time it was the most expensive movie ever made. It was like $140 million in 1994 dollars.
And it's a movie that opened up with a guy pissing into a jug and then drinking his own piss.
Yeah, totally. So it foretold the internet. It's amazing. But I have to say, regardless of what the theme or property was that it was based on, it was a visceral juggernaut, like Rock'em Sock'em Fun Fest. Like people doing jet ski jumps and like explosions. They're firing guns. People are falling from like 50-foot heights. It was a whole thing. And they were 100% in character the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah. And they bring everyone out because the premise of Universal Studios is this is a real studio where movies get made. And if you go on the studio tour, you actually do recognize the backlot. Like, oh, yeah, that's where The Good Place was filmed. And yeah, here's Hill Valley, where Back to the Future set and Gremlins. It's crazy how much like film history is packed into that place. But when they're introducing all the cast members of the Waterworld Stunt Show, they're like, they're all, actors that you know from TV and they list their credits. And none of these are shows that I've heard of. And I went later, I made a mental note of the actors and the shows they were in, and I looked. And most of these shows either were never picked up or the actor who was on the show was like a background player in one episode. And now they have them as a recurring guest as the Waterworld Stunt Show, protagonist or whatever. But they're great. They're great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gig,
it's a great gig. Just you don't have to go the extra mile of telling me that like Lester's Family is a real show. That's never been a TV show. You just made that up. Yeah,
Disney had the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular that was very similar. A lot of explosions, a lot of they had the scene in I think the third one, not the last one, the third one, The Last Crusade with the guy who gets cut up with the propeller blade of the yeah, they have like one of those airplanes on stage moving around and everything, so it's really well done. I think they stopped doing it though.
Oh, that's too bad. I would totally go to that.
Yeah, it was a really fun thing. We did Universal Studios too. I like how they just like built a theme park on a mountain and then built like 4 escalators to just go up and down.
It's the American way. Totally.
It's just the most ridiculous way to lay that out. But I guess if all you have is a mountain, you're going to use a mountain.
You're going to use the mountain. Yeah. We had a really fun time there. Although I hear potentially the Florida Universal Studios is better than the one in California. I've never been there, so it is really awesome. They have the train from Back to the Future Part 3. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they got that, and they got a DeLorean. And one really cool thing about the Universal, talking about character meet and greets at Disney, if you want to meet a character, it's like, okay, there's a line to go meet that person over there. But like at Universal, they'll just have random characters wandering around. So like near the Back to the Future train, and they have a DeLorean, they just had a Doc Brown hanging out over there. So you go over and like talk to Doc Brown and get a selfie with Doc Brown. There was a Beetlejuice hanging out in front of like the horror place. So, and he's just hanging out there, muttering to himself in Beetlejuice voice and like talking to people.
Amazing.
Hey,
Yeah.
And then you go up and you get like, oh, Beetlejuice. And it's like, hey, yeah. So Universal is much more, it just seemed to have more opportunities that were more spontaneous.
Yeah.
And not having to stand in a line to meet somebody for 30 seconds and do the photo and do the autograph and everything. Because I don't care about Doc Brown's autograph, but I want to go and get, a selfie with him in front of the train, which I think
totally.
I have. So I'm going to have to dig that up and I'll post that as the image for the show.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Yeah. We didn't see anything that awesome in terms of character like pop-ins. I think we saw maybe a transformer or two like in giant suits, like just posing for photos. But
yeah, they've got some of those. The new park in Universal is really nice because they've got they're leaning into How to Train Your Dragon. So they've got an Isle of Berkland. They've got, Universal is big on their classic horror. So they've got a horror, like classic horror, vampire, Frankenstein, stuff like that. They got a new Harry Potter thing. They got two other, one other thing. And it's slipping my mind right now. But they have a huge new park that's really has all these cool lands. And Beth and our daughter have already been there and they loved it. So
yeah. How does your daughter do on like the more thrill ride roller coaster type?
Absolutely not. She doesn't do any of that.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. And having two kids too, like we definitely find ourselves in a divide and conquer type strategy because my son
do you like thrill rides?
Within limits. I unfortunately have like pretty severe motion sickness, I lose my equilibrium pretty quickly, and it does not take much for me to just start feeling barfy. So big, like swooping roller coasters with drops and things like that, I love. Like I'll do those all day. But the minute that it starts like corkscrewing, any kind of inversions or spinning really quickly, like I am out to lunch. It's gross. Like so, and my daughter is very tentative about a lot of those kind of rides. We always find ourselves like, doing the full court press of like, okay, by the end of the day, our family goal is to get her to want to ride this roller coaster or do something exciting. So yeah, it usually ends up that two of us are watching the other two do a ride, whatever that configuration is. Yeah, it would be awesome if all four of us always were on the same page, but it is rarely the case.
Well, I don't like roller coasters. I don't like big thrill rides myself, but I also do want to ride some rides sometimes.
Yeah,
and there are times like at Disney World, they have the Avatar flight of Banshee or whatever, flight of passage or whatever it is, which is an incredible experience. Like you get on the back of a Banshee and it's flying. You have this huge screen in front of you. It's very immersive. It has 4D effects too. You get kind of spray in your face, and it's really incredible. And if you have a chance to ride it, you should, because you're not going to ride anything like it, or you probably haven't ridden anything like it. And my daughter's just like, no, not even interested. So wife and I are just like, well, we want to experience this, so we have to like hand off the kids.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, theme parks should give you like, kid safe and appropriate handcuffs where you can just cuff them to the edge of the line.
Is there a child pen that I can drop this child into?
Yeah, just short term. We actually sprung for the Fast Pass when we went to Universal Studios, which is expensive, but I think it was worth it. Just, you're going to spend all day in line unless, and ride 3 rides. Or if you do this, suddenly you get unlimited rides. So we ended up doing, close to 20 ride experiences over the course of our day, which felt like more than we even wanted, but we were drunk on power. But my ride is walking past everyone else waiting in line. Like from my perspective, I don't even need to ride the ride. I just want to enter on the fast lane and just like go past all the other people waiting. And I can just exit right before the ride. Yeah. Oh, it's so thrilling. Just that feeling of like all that time that I don't have to spend in line. Like, and it's not me feeling at all smug or better. It's just like, it's so cathartic to not have to do something unpleasant. I love that. It's like lancing a boil. Yeah, I would pay just to walk past lines. Honestly, I don't need the rides. Yeah, and there's, I know, like, depending on what you want to do, you have those opportunities. I did where Disney stayed open late, where I got extra tickets to stay late at Disney during Star Wars night. So the Star Wars area, yeah, and I bought a lightsaber. I bought one of those like really expensive lightsabers and everything. But they had you could either ride rides, you could experience food, or you could do photo opportunities. And I rode rides. Yeah. Because Space Mountain turns into Hyperspace Mountain. Oh, I've done that. I did that in Paris. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. And I did do some of the food, and I wish I'd stayed a little bit longer and stayed for the photo opportunities, because they had like Han Solo and Carbonite and Jabba and bounty hunters and all kinds of people you can meet and do photos with.
Yeah.
Like, all those lines were like an hour and a half long. So it's, you got a limited time. You got to decide what you want to do.
Wait, so were you there for, I forget the name of the new Star Wars thing. Is it like Galaxy's Edge? Or I forget what it's called. Like the whole new immersive Star Wars experience at Disneyland that has like the full-size Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, the Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, that stays open late, and you get to, the whole park stays open late, but Galaxy's Edge is where everybody goes.
So what do you think of that? Because our drummer went a month or two ago, and he said like he was moved to tears multiple times by the experience, like as a lifelong Star Wars fan. And yeah, I'm the same way, I'm sure.
It is incredibly immersive.
Yeah.
I also lifelong Star Wars fan, and going in and seeing like these full-size A-Wings and X-Wings just kind of parked, they do really well to block out everything that's not Star Wars.
Yeah.
So you're not going to look up and see, I mean, you'll see an airplane maybe, but you're not going to look up and see, buildings, and you're not going to see the outside world, which is really nice. The people who work in there have there's a whole different language. And there are entirely different mannerisms. So if you work there, you are saying and doing and acting ways completely different than any of the other cast members.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's really cool. The shops that they have are very much like, they have their gift shoppy shops, but then also like where I got the place where you buy the lightsabers. It is a very dank, looks like you're on Tatooine inside of one of those buildings. And they've got all kinds of things on display. You can buy holocron cubes. You can buy all this really cool stuff. And then they have the bar. They have Doc Ondar's bar as well. And that's really cool because that is all like kind of space agey drinks, and they've got some snacks and everything, but it is very much modeled after that Tatooine bar that you see in the first movie. So it is like, if you are a Star Wars fan, 100% get down there. And especially the Millennium Falcon ride is incredible. You get to fly the Millennium Falcon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you get like, and you've got a family, so take them all because there's multiple seats. There's 2 pilots, there's 2 gunners, and then there's 2 like auxiliary people. And everybody is a part of this smuggler's run with I think it's Doc Ondar, the guy with the very, very piratey guy. He's not, I don't think he's in any of the movies, but he is a part of the lore as a, you're working as a bounty hunter, and you work as a bounty hunter for me, and we do bounties. So the Millennium Falcon ride's really great. The food is really great. The shopping experience, like the little, they have outdoor stores as well, right? Uh-huh. That kind of look like a farmer's market.
Oh, cool.
And that is all, done in a way to, evoke that same, you're on an outpost on a foreign planet. This is just kind of slapdash and put together, but it works. So yeah, highly recommend.
Thank you. I'm sold. I didn't get nearly that level of detail from our drummer because he was, I think, too busy crying about it. Welling up.
That's the one I got.
You're holding up your lightsaber there. That's amazing.
My lightsaber, yeah. Turn it on like that. Woo.
Wow, and you're just touching the blade too.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those safe ones.
Yeah.
I got the child lock on.
Oh, good. Smart.
Well, Jack, I think that's a podcast. Thank you for jumping on. Maybe we'll get you on next week too. We'll see what Nate's got going on. I know Nate's got not only does he have a child, but he manages other podcasts. So it's basically like he has multiple children.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, and he's raising them all very well.
Very well. Some of them are problem children, and that's okay. We just got to go and smack them with a ruler. It'll be fine.
And listen, if you have any dad chat centric questions that are more specific to like tween and teenage kids, I am here for it.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jack, next week, let's do a pure dad chat. If you are in the Discord, you can send it to me. If you are on Blue Sky, I am what a hell of a way to dad.com on Blue Sky, Sergeant Joker at hellofawaytodie.com, all those ways. And let us know. Cause yeah, Jack's got teens. I have a 10-year-old, Nate has a 2-year-old. Jack is fully in the throes of puberty at the moment. So
personally, I'm still going through it. Yeah.
Personally himself.
Yeah. It's kind of gross, and I have mood swings.
It's been a long road.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get some questions for you. We'll talk about sending your kids off to school and whatnot there.
Awesome. Okay, sounds good.
And as everything else we talked about, there's the Patreon. The Patreon is going to be having. I'm going to be adding more things, not just weed reviews, but also we're going to be doing monthly giveaways in the Patreon. So sign up there. If you are at any level of the Patreon, you will be eligible for any of these giveaways, raffles, discounts, all the things that we're going to have. And if you're at the $10 level, you're going to get a care package. So get that in before the end of the month, and you're going to get some stickers by the end of August.
And am I reading this right? The $500 level sends me and my family to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland.
Exactly.
That's on there. Okay, good. Excellent.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Toodaloo.